A struggling Auburn passing game, a horrendous LSU pass defense, and a rivalry with the strangest, most peculiar, and off the wall history. What could possibly go wrong?
You are Locked On LSU, your daily podcast on the LSU Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
All right, well, thanks for making Locked On LSU your first listen every single day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast. Plus, you can also check us out on YouTube as well. Same name, Locked On LSU. Hit that subscribe button and you'll get notified as soon as every episode of Locked On LSU drops. Today's edition of Locked On LSU is brought to you by LinkedIn. Hey, these days, every new potential hire can feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business. That's why LinkedIn Jobs helps find the right people for your team faster and for free. So post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. Terms and conditions apply. All right, let's get into it because we are just over 24 hours away from LSU back in Tiger Stadium after a 2-week hiatus on the road at Ole Miss and then at Missouri, hosting Auburn this weekend. And kind of sad because this is not a game on the schedule next year in 2024 once Texas and Oklahoma join the fold. So sad. It kind of feels like an end of an era with this matchup. I think it's an underrated rivalry and an underrated matchup every single year around the SEC. So I'm sad to see it go, but excited for LSU to get an opportunity back at home. So what does LSU need to do? And also, what does LSU need to avoid in order to secure a win on Saturday night? Now, look, this is an Auburn team that's been struggling, but this is an Auburn team that's got some fight. All right, like I'm not looking at this game and saying this is a game that LSU should win, because I understand that LSU is one of the best offenses in the country, if not the best offense in the country. But this is not a team that's been able to just skate by through games. I mean, Arkansas was much closer than we all would have liked. Ole Miss was atrocious. Missouri, I mean, yeah, the final score was 49-39, but that was not a 49-39 kind of game. That was like a 49-46 kind of game. It was a lot closer than we all would have liked. So let's, all as LSU fans, not go walking into this game thinking that LSU deserves a win right off the bat, or that this is going to be an easy played game, because the heads up, it's not. Like this is this is not going to be an easily won game for LSU. But I think it starts, at least for me, the number one key for LSU is the LSU run defense. Now, the scariest thing about that is when your number one key involves a unit that has been not just struggling or not just bad, but like historically bad and worst in college football bad, like that's a red flag. That's a little bit concerning. But the run defense is going to have its work cut out for it this weekend, and I think that it's going to be an incredibly important key for LSU. So LSU right now currently has the 93rd ranked run defense in college football, averaging just over 5 yards per carry. Now, 93rd in the country seems a lot better than the pass defense that's ranked like 457th in college football. But still, that's not very good. Not good at all, especially when you're going up against an Auburn run offense that's ranked 19th in the country, averaging 4.83 yards per carry, putting up just over 202 yards per game, just over 200 yards per game. So this is an Auburn team that can run the football now. And I think one of the scariest things about it is it's not just about taking out one guy. Like if you're looking at the whole of the SEC, like if you're playing Kentucky, you can say, okay, take Ray Davis out of the game. And that's a lot easier said than done, but that Kentucky run offense is more predicated over one go-to workhorse back. At Auburn, however, they are more than willing to pass the football around. And I guess I'm not going to say pass the football around, because that is, in fact, what Auburn is struggling with. But they're more than happy to let several different players run with the football, and that starts with the quarterbacks, because they got two quarterbacks that can run the football. It starts with Peyton Thorne, who is okay, first of all, where did Peyton Thorne's legs come from? Like, I mean, he was throwing the heck out of the football when he was at Michigan State. So Peyton Thorne transferred into Auburn this season from Michigan State. I mean, he was throwing the heck out of the football at Michigan State. I guess they just never really gave him the opportunity to run the football. I don't know. I'm never going to act like an expert in Michigan State football. But that really has never been part of his game. But Peyton Thorne ran for 123 yards against Samford, which you can say, okay, Samford, who cares? 92 yards against Georgia. Now, granted, that came from a 61-yard run that set up a field goal for Auburn early in the game against Georgia, but still, I mean, 92 yards against the number one team in the country that has one of the best defenses in the country. Like, that's not something that I take lightly. So, Peyton Thorne can run the football unexpectedly so. So, pardon me, Peyton Thorne was not familiar with your game. Robbie Ashford is their backup quarterback that they also like to use. Go back to like the mid 2000s Florida teams, like the 06, 07, 08 teams. Chris Leak was the quarterback. Tim Tebow would come in some packages to run the football, 4th and 1, 3rd-and-1 situations. That's kind of similar to how Auburn wants to use Robbie Ashford because they're not asking Robbie Ashford to throw the football a whole bunch, but he can run the football. Go back to last season. Robbie Ashford was in at quarterback against LSU last year. And honestly, Robbie Ashford was moving the rock a whole lot better than I think that we all would have liked last season. But he can assist in the running game. So they got two quarterbacks that can run the football and two quarterbacks that they can and do like to use interchangeably. And then they've got a trio, quadruple group of running backs that they like to use. Jarquez Hunter is at the forefront of that group of running backs. He's their leading rusher, who's averaging 4 yards a carry. And just to add a little bit of context into that number, you give Jarquez Hunter the ball 3 consecutive plays in a row, that's a first down. Gain of 4, 2nd and 6. Gain of 4, 3rd-and-2. Gain of 4, 1st-and-10. So Jarquez Hunter is going to probably be, when you're looking away from the mobility of the quarterbacks, he's probably going to be the marquee running back on the day. But right behind him is Brian Batty, 5.1 yards per carry on 30 attempts. Damian Alston, 5 yards per carry on 26 attempts. So Auburn is more than willing and more than capable to run the football with several different of their offensive weapons. And that's how I think Auburn wants to win games this season, is by running the football. Because if you've watched any of Auburn earlier in the beginning of the season, you've seen how much that passing game really has struggled. You've seen how hard it is for them to move down the field in the air. But the run game, as I just mentioned, has been effective for them. So, like, look, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Keep rocking with what's working. I mean, if, for example, of the 98 first downs that Auburn has picked up now through 6 weeks, 5 weeks, 5 games for them because they just are coming off the bye. 59 of those are coming off running the football, and only 39 first downs are coming off of throwing the football. So 59 to 39, there's a pretty obvious, shift there. There's a pretty obvious, and it's pretty clear to me what Auburn wants to do. So run defense for LSU is going to be huge. It's going to be huge. You're going to have to stop the Auburn run game. You stop the Auburn run game, that's really all that they can do. Like, I look at it like our number one key is going to be to take the run away from you. And if you can beat us, the number one offense in the country, if you can beat us by throwing the football, then you know what? Hats off to you. Because I mean, that's not something that I would bet on in a million years. So the LSU run defense is going to be huge in taking away what Auburn does best offensively. But coming up next, one of the second biggest keys to the game and beating Auburn. We will get into that coming up next. First, I want to tell you about LinkedIn. These days, every new potential hire can feel like a high stakes wager for your small business, and you want to be 100% certain that you have access to the best qualified candidates available. So that's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps find the right people for your team faster and for free. And it is so incredibly easy to post a free job posting on LinkedIn Jobs. First of all, it's free. Who doesn't love that? Who doesn't want to utilize a resource at your fingertips that you don't have to put a bunch of resources into in order to fill a job? So just go to linkedin.com, create that free job post, and add your purple hashtag hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you, in fact, are hiring. They've got simple tools like screening questions that make it super easy to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience so you can quickly prioritize who you would like to interview and to hire. And I think we all know, whether you're a small business owner or not, I think we all know how important it is to find just the right person to help your business achieve its goals. That's why small businesses rate LinkedIn jobs number one in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates that you want to talk to faster. So post your job for free at linkedin.com/locked-on-college. That is linkedin.com/locked-on-college to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. All right. Well, thanks again for making Locked On LSU your first listen every single day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. And hey, this season, Locked On is kicking up our college football coverage with Locked On College Football Kickoff Live. Every Friday, Locked On will go live at 11 a.m. Eastern. That's 10 a.m. Central on every Locked On College YouTube channel. College Football Kickoff Live will cover playoff implications, conference rivalry games, and go in depth like only Locked On can, including insight and analysis from our stable of Locked On College hosts covering their team every single day. Find Locked On College Football Kickoff Live every Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern on any Locked On College YouTube channel. You will not want to miss it. All right, looking at some of the biggest keys for LSU in beating Auburn this weekend. First is run defense. Auburn has a solid run offense, 19th in the country, 4.83 yards per carry. Auburn is averaging, and they're doing that against Texas A&M, who I believe has the best defensive front in college football. They did it again against Georgia, probably has the best defense in college football. So this isn't just Auburn running the football against East Southwest Butt Crack State Community College. Like, this is Auburn doing it against some of the top defenses in the conference. The second for me, so first one is more defense motivated. The second key for me is more offensive, and it's staying out of third and long situations. And look, this LSU offense is equipped to get out of 3rd and 14. Like between Jaden Daniels and Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas, Mason Taylor, I'll even add on top of that. Just overall, this passing offense, this offense as a whole, is equipped to get out of those uncomfortable downs. What I like to call 3rd and iffy, 3rd 7, 3rd 8, 3rd 9, and then 3rd and uncomfortable, 3rd 14, 3rd 15. You know what I mean? But the only way that you win this football game is by doing it offensively. I think the only way that you win any football game on the rest of your schedule is by doing it offensively, is by getting into a shootout, and just at the end of the day, your offense is better. That even if an opposing offense can stay in the game through the first half or through 3 quarters, your offense is just simply better. And ball don't lie. The best offense will emerge at the end of the day. So the only way that you are going to win this game, if you get into a shootout, it's just by scoring points, because your defense can't stop anybody. We know that. So when your offense is on the field, you got to put out points. And I think this very easily could be a game where LSU's offense is able to put it away in the first half. But also, knowing this LSU defense and knowing the history of this rivalry, this very well could come down to maybe something similar like the LSU Arkansas game. I don't know. Like anything is on the table, truly. So stay out of 3rd and long for a few reasons. One, Auburn is only allowing 34% of 3rd down conversions defensively. To put that in perspective, LSU is allowing almost 50% of 3rd downs, and that's 112th in the nation. Auburn is top 25 in 3rd down conversions. So and allowing 3rd down conversions, I should say. So don't make things harder on yourself. Don't make things harder on yourself on the money down. So how do you do that? How do you stay out of 3rd and iffy and 3rd and uncomfortable? How do you not shoot yourself in the foot on the money downs? One thing is play calling, and that would fall on Mike Denbrock of not just 3rd down play calling, but 1st and 2nd down play calling. And that's another reason that you kind of stay out of that 3rd and unmanageable as being effective and efficient on first down. That a 3rd and 2 feels much more gettable when you've got Jaden Daniels and Logan Diggs running the football versus a 3rd and 8 when it's maybe a more obvious passing down against a pretty solid Auburn defensive front. Now, to make you feel a little bit better, LSU is the best first down team in college football, offensively at least, not defensively. The best offensive first down team in college football. They've converted 100 and not converted. They have 168 first downs. Um, number 2 is Oklahoma with 164. But also, you're going up against a really good first down defense. Auburn ranks 15th in the nation in first downs allowed. They're allowing about 16 per game. So keep that into perspective. This is a good first down defense, but your first down offense is better. This is a good run defense against Auburn, but your run offense is better. That's kind of my theme of the day of yes, Auburn has the capability to stop the run, to limit what you want to do offensively, and to limit the number of first downs that you get. And they can, get you off the field on 3rd down. But overall, you can just do those things better. And you're going to have to do those things better. You're going to have to play to that level, not just on Saturday night, but on every single game and the rest of your schedule. Because again, that's how you win football games. The other way that you do that outside of being effective and efficient on first and second downs of getting enough yards to keep you out of 3rd and iffy is just avoiding those pre-snap penalties, avoiding penalties in general. I mean, 11 penalties against Missouri, it's truly unacceptable. I mean, eliminate the false starts. Eliminate any penalties that's going to back you up further than you need to be. Like, I don't want to see any 1st and 20s. Because, yeah, you're the best offense in the country, but how many times are you going to be able to dig yourself out of a 1st and 20 hole against the 15th best first down defense in the country? So, staying out of 3rd and long, don't get yourself in uncomfortable positions, and really, simply, just get into the end zone. Just get points on the board. You've been able to do it pretty well and pretty effectively, really throughout the entirety of the season for the most part. Um, but just don't make things more difficult on yourself. Okay, coming up next, overall, just what to watch in this matchup. Some fun matchups that I think because this is such an intriguing matchup, I think, because it's a matchup of what one team does really well versus what the other team does really well, and also what one team does horrifically versus what the other team does horrifically. So truly just a matchup for the Sickos committee. So we'll get into some of the best matchups to watch, and we'll do that coming up next. All right, I want to tell you about FanDuel. Snap into action this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That is $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. And if you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there is no better place to get in on the action. The app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, including spreads and player props, over-unders, and so much more. Currently, LSU is listed as an 11.5-point favorite against Auburn, which is funny because you would think against, two very different offenses that it'd be a much bigger spread. But I think Vegas is accounting for one, LSU's defense, and two, simply the unpredictability of this matchup. But I am going to take LSU to cover. I think this offense is just too good to bet against. But hey, that's my take. Do it how you want to do it, and do it with the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Visit fanduel.com/locked on and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. All right, thanks again for making Locked On LSU your first listen every single day. Really, my two biggest keys for LSU this weekend: stop Auburn's run. Peyton Thorne, Robbie Ashford, both of their quarterbacks, they can run the football. They've got a trio of running backs that can do it as well, led by Jarquez Hunter. Auburn has the 19th ranked run offense in college football, and you have the 93rd ranked rush defense in college football. So that defensive front, that looked at least the ittiest, bittiest, teeniest, weeniest, tiniest bit better and got timely stops against Missouri in the second half. They're going to have to continue to build upon that if they're going to want to stop this Auburn run game. Second, kind of all encompassing offensive thoughts of staying out of third and long, being effective and efficient on first and second downs, because Auburn is the 15th best first down defense in the country. However, you are the best first down offense in the country. So play to your strengths. Auburn's good in first down defensively, but you're better offensively. Now, overall, just things that I want to watch. I have two categories of things that I'm intrigued to watch on Saturday night. Now, if you are interested in looking at a good matchup, just good on good, I would recommend you look out for LSU's run game against Auburn's run defense. LSU currently has the 14th ranked rush offense in college football, averaging about 210 yards per game. And we know what that LSU run game looks like. I mean, I just talked about how many different rush weapons Auburn has offensively. Well, you have the the best dual threat quarterback in college football in Jaden Daniels that can take the game over with his legs, has done it before, will do it again. You've got Logan Diggs, who has emerged as one of the best running backs in the SEC. And oh, yeah, by the way, you've also got 6, 7 guys behind him that are ready to take over in a constant rotation. So yeah, we know what LSU's run game looks like. We know how threatening that is, and we know that every single team on LSU's schedule's number one priority is going to be to stop Jaden Daniels' run game. They haven't really been able to do that yet. But with that being said, like I said, Auburn has the 19th ranked rush. Excuse me, that was Auburn has 19th ranked rush offense, but Auburn, on the other hand, also has a really solid run defense. Auburn's pretty solid up front. They're only allowing 129 yards per game. So an offense that loves to run the football against a defense that really, for the most part, has limited what their opponents want to do in the run game. I think that'll be interesting to watch good on good. Now, what I think is most interesting, because I am a proud member of the college football sickos committee. So I'm looking out, the sickos out there, Auburn's passing game against LSU's DBs. Because you want to talk about good on good, LSU's run game against Auburn's run defense. Talk about bad on bad. Talk about worst in college football against worst in college football. Auburn is averaging 156 passing yards a game. That's bad. And I'll even get further into it. Auburn is averaging 69 passing yards a game in conference play. Against Texas A&M, both Peyton Thorne and Robbie Ashford did not eclipse that 60-yard passing mark. Woof. That's not just bad. That's really bad. That's really bad. That's not winning in the SEC bad. But also, your your pass defense isn't much better. It's along the same lines of bad, because LSU DBs are allowing 286 yards through the air a game. So statistically, one of the worst, if not close to the worst, pass defenses in the country against one of the worst pass offenses in the country. I said this with Zach Blackerby. He hosts Locks on Auburn. We did a crossover yesterday, which of course you can find on your preferred podcast platform and on YouTube. I said there's going to be one of those groups, whether it's Peyton Thorne and the Auburn passing game or the LSU DBs, someone is going to come out of this game feeling more confident in what they can do. I don't know who it's going to be, but it's either the LSU DBs stopping a horrendous pass attack, or it's a horrendous pass attack that is able to, to nitpick what a horrendous pass defense can do, and they come out looking better than they have all season long. So that also is going to be I don't want to say interesting. I don't want to say intriguing, but something. I think something is the right word. But overall, like I mentioned, I'm taking LSU to cover the spread here. And maybe that's me. Maybe that's a more hope than it is a true prediction. Maybe that's a little bit more heart than it is head. Because this LSU team needs to stop getting themselves in such stressful and close games, especially against opponents that they should beat. This Auburn team, as much as I dug into the numbers of how, effective the run game has been, of how solid the defense has been for Auburn against really good opponents. Texas A&M and Georgia, like I mentioned. You're a better team than Auburn is. Yeah, Auburn's got the 15th best first down defense in college football. You've got the best first down offense in college football. You're just better. This LSU team is in a much different position and place than this Auburn team is. I mean, you've got a Heisman Trophy caliber quarterback. Auburn had to pick up a quarterback through the transfer portal, and they're just hoping to get through this season so they can find another quarterback through the transfer portal or hope one of these young guys emerges as being the guy of the future. This is Hugh Freeze's first year. You need to start building a little bit of confidence in your team. And the way that you're going to do that is against teams that you are supposed to beat. You're not going to gain a whole lot of confidence letting teams that you should beat stay in the game with you. Teams that shouldn't be in the game with you are in the game with you. So maybe it's a little bit more heart than it is head, and I'm fine with that. But I think that this is a game that LSU absolutely could win 34-14, 34-10, whatever it might be. Yeah, you're going to give up some yards in the process. And yeah, Peyton Thorne's probably going to look better against LSU's defense than he has all season long, or at least all throughout the SEC. I get that. I understand that. But this is still a team that you should take care of. You're at home, and I understand Auburn's coming off of the bye. I get that. I understand. That shouldn't be a big factor in this game. It shouldn't be. Don't let it be. It might be. Don't let it be. But that's going to do it for me today. Thank you for making Locked On LSU your first listen every single day. If you're going to the game, enjoy it, have fun, cheer extra loud for me. Coming up on Monday, a full breakdown of LSU Auburn here on the Locked On LSU podcast.